Hi, everybody. Like I say in all my videos, I'm not responsible if anybody gets hurt. Sometimes I swear. Today I'm going to be talking about the prosecutors who are going to prosecute, hopefully, Nick Reiner, the people who are for the state of California or whatever you want to call it, and what I think they should do. This is my opinion. This is my opinion, and I think if they're smart, they're gonna go. They're gonna go when they go and pick the jury, which is gonna be hard because it's finding a jury is very hard because what I see on television and movies, I know it's all this is real life, but when I see what I've learned about watching for them to pick a jury and stuff, the prosecutor when I saw Runaway Jury and all these TV shows and movies, whatever, they check the background of all the people who are on the jury, if they've had records, like if they've done anything illegal, and they check to make sure they're, if they or if they've had a crime, misdemeanor throughout their lives, they check it. They check your background. So, and then they go and ask you if you get because I've been asked 3 times to be on jury duty, but I always say no because I'd be biased. If they think you're biased, they'll kick you off the list. Say you come up to them, they come to you and ask you, because sometimes it takes hours to get to go on the jury. They ask you your name, you tell them, they say, do you think you could be biased in this thing? And if you say yes, then they excuse you. And then if you're not biased, then they might keep you. It depends what you look like, how they think, body language, and what all the different things that they can tell from you. And if they like I said, if they think you're biased or you don't, if you have a bad attitude, they probably would kick you off. They would take a lot of people. I think they go in to have a lot of parents on the jury. They would want people who have been married, divorced, married, parents. I think they're going to have older people in their 50s, 60s, or even in the 70 range, who've been married or have children, grown parents. So I think they would have people, they're going to have men and women. I don't know if they're going to have just white people or they'll have black people or Mexican. I think they're going to have more white. I'm just saying what I think they would do in California's court, unless I'm not going to have it in Los Angeles if they're going to try to change a venue because they think people will be prejudiced. Also, I think the prosecutor are going to have to look up his background when he was a kid, and like that. Find out who he was playing with when he was in school, when he was in nursery school, and his pediatrician, if the pediatrician is still alive and kicking, if his teachers, his principal, the vice principal, guidance counselors, if they're smart, they'll find out if he ever went to how he did with psychiatrist when he was a kid. How did he play with his siblings? His siblings are going to be on the jury. On testifying against him. They'll have, they won't want to, but they're going to be testifying against him, his brother and sister, cousins, maybe friends, maybe a few people in the media, maybe what's his name? Kobe O'Brien, the one who was having the party, he might be asked to, that's Michaela, asked to be on the to testify by the prosecutor. They might say, okay, Kobe and Brian, we want you to tell us what happened on the night of the party and stuff like that. And then they're going to talk to the doctors who were like, he went to, when he got older, he'd take drugs, and then the prosecutor people, lawyers will talk to his doctors that he went to see if he was mentally stable, if he's not, if he went to mental hospitals so many times, the different doctors, the different clinics, and talk to people there. They're going to be in the courtroom, testifying the different hospitals, the different clinics, how many, the people, if he, the people who witnessed his outburst, him throwing stuff, uh, you know, anybody testifying his bad behavior, him throwing fits, him saying nasty things. They might show on the video of his YouTube, what he said about they were saying about what he said about dog. That dog doesn't shut up. I'm gonna effing the dog, shoot the dog. And she also, I think if the smart, the prosecutors are going to say that they're going to have a thing saying that Michelle and Rob were scared of Nick. They're going to bring that up. If they're smart, they're going to bring up that Nick was afraid. Nick said he was afraid of his parents, and then they'll say, no, that's not true. I think the prosecutors are going to say that his sister is going to say that she was afraid of her brother, because he was not nice. He said in an interview I saw that he wasn't good to animals. He treated them very badly. He mistreated animals, and she was afraid of him, that she might be next. I saw this on an interview that she put, that she was afraid of Nick. So she might testify that she was scared of him, that she would be next. She was afraid for her parents, and they were afraid. Maybe friends and family will say that his parents were afraid of Nick. Also, Nick also gloating that he's been taking drugs illegally for so many years and he didn't really want to stop. He's gloating when maybe they show clips of his interview with his father and the way he came across, that he was jealous of his parents, especially his father, and they fought a lot. He would have to put a bear hug to keep him even when he was young. He had issues with anger. He had these outbursts where he would throw fits. And like I said, he'd throw fits. He would destroy things and they would clean up after him. The police was called multiple times. Maybe they'll have a police that takes that stand that says they've been called multiple times, but Nick was never arrested for that, which I think is crazy. Why did they not arrest him for that? I think they should have. He should have been thrown in jail for that, but they didn't. The runners wanted to keep that clean off the slate. Didn't want him to get in trouble for that. And like I said, Kobe Bryant, I think, no, Michaela, will be testifying. Some other friends are going to testify about his weird behavior, Nick's weird behavior before, during the party, and the fight that was happening during the party, and a lot of people think they were shocked this happened, but they thought it might happen because of Nick's behavior. So also, I think it would be smart if they would find him guilty of, because they're gonna try. I know the people are gonna look for Nick are gonna try to say he's he was on medicine, and you should blame the doctors. You can't blame the doctors if he refused to take his medicine. That's another thing. The prosecutor should say he refused to take his medicine. If he did take it, he wouldn't do the one he wanted. He would bad mouth the doctors. He would manipulate the doctors, that he would blackmail them, say, you better do what I want. He never took account of his actions. They're going to have doctors thinking he's a narcissistic personality, no, a psychopath, a sociopath. I think a lot of doctors are going to think he's a psychopath or a sociopath. I hope it's on the new. I hope they do it on. I hope they have it on television like they did Johnny Depp and his soon to be his ex-wife. I hope they have it, like O.J. Simpson or trial. I hope it's going to be on television because the world has to know about these people, about him being a person who's acting like he's a victim when he's really not a victim. He got so many chances, to better his life, but he didn't. He screwed it up, and he ended up killing the most important people in his life. They loved him. And the other thing they're going to say, the prosecutor, they never abused him. They just tried to love him, and they gave him so many chances, So the prosecutor should just throw the book at him. I think he should get the death penalty, but they're not going to do that in California because they're too lenient. I'm going to make a video about how I think they should bring the death penalty back for certain cases because he's a high person. Before before Nick did this and before Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle got killed, that we wouldn't know anything about this guy. We didn't know anything about it. He was a slacker, didn't do anything. He just sat at home. They should have made him work, but they didn't. That's part of the reason why he turned out the way. I don't blame them that they got killed. No, that's not their fault. I think they just were enabling him, and and I think they were scared of him too. Like I said many times, they scared. The family members were scared of him. He was like, they walked on eggshells around him. He was a loose cannon. You didn't know when he was going to go off. That's what sociopaths or psychopaths or narcissists do, that you don't know how. So hopefully the prosecutor will find all these ideas about having someone under the jury and finding Nick guilty. I hope they throw the book at him. So, into my next video, take care and bye.